Welcome to the throne, where the cardboard shines, and stories in the stats, legends frozen in time. Slow it down with Royal Rips, the podcast for the cards you love.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Royal Rips podcast, presented by Gibla King Sports Cards. I am Randy Rips, your host. Let's get into it, because I have a lot to talk about today about where the hobby stands. We are in what I like to call the content creating era of the sports card hobby. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there are tons of creators out there who we as consumers, resellers, and collectors are heavily influenced by the content that these guys are putting out. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's ruining the hobby itself. I'm just saying it is a gift and a curse. We have guys like King of Cards, Card Collector 2, Mojo Sports, Santiago Sports, Roth Cards. The list goes on and on and on. And kudos to these guys. They've built a brand. They work their butts off to get where they're at. And they are now making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing content and reselling cards. But why am I saying that this is a bad thing? Why am I saying that, it's a gift and a curse? Well, let me tell you. The gift is we're seeing these guys continually build the hobby. And what do I mean by that? I mean, these guys, to me, are keeping the hobby alive. They're the ones that are bringing new faces into the hobby. I mean, I'm watching these guys' videos and I'm seeing anybody from the age of 5 all the way to the age of 70 come up to these guys and tell them, I watched your video. You're the reason that, I'm a collector now. You're the reason that this is my very first card show. You're the reason that I got back into it after being away from it for 5 to 10 years, which is the best thing possible for what the hobby is going to. They're keeping the hobby alive. Obviously, us as consumers, buyers, sellers, etc., we're also doing it, but they are playing a massive part in it. Without them posting videos weekly, monthly, daily, I don't think the hobby would be growing as much as it is now. We are at, to me, a very high of what the hobby is going to be. We have new faces. We have people coming in. We have people going into breaks, Prism. It is just a hot time right now within the sports card hobby. We're seeing a ton of new resellers. We're seeing a ton of new content creators. People are being influenced by these guys to start something, but that is where the curse comes in. I've seen and I've talked to a lot of people who jump into being a reseller or a content creator, starting to set up at shows for the first time, going out and spending hundreds of dollars on sports cards to resell, just to come back and tell me, this sucks. I'm making no money. I thought I would be making money hand over fist within the first month. I thought I'd have 1 million of subscribers on YouTube, hundreds of thousands of followers on social media platforms. And the thing is, that's not realistic. We're watching these guys on YouTube and TikTok, and we're seeing them pay 90% for cards and then going to flip it for 100 to 120% for their profit. We're seeing that they're going to shows and they're getting deals easy. They're not getting hassle from the sellers. We're seeing that their views on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and every other platform is thousands of thousands and not even, even at some points millions of views. And we're looking at that and we're saying, if they could do it, I can do it. Because unfortunately, they're not showing their lows. And I'm not saying they have a lot of lows, but they're not showing any. And that is really influencing guys to come in, people to come in to be resellers and content creators, and then slowly die out of it and fall out of it. Fall out of love of cards, fall out of love of just everything to do with the hobby. They're thinking that they're going to come in and it's going to be smooth selling because they have a camera and they're filming their interaction with, purchasing something. Or they think because they just bought a card for 90%, they're about to flip that for 100 and 120%. When in reality, it's not realistic. Trust me, I'm doing it now. I've been doing this for a full year, and I'm not nowhere near 1,000 followers on social media. Yeah, I am making profit on a lot of cards. I mean, I'm profiting it on almost every single purchase I make and resell. But I do have a lot of lows, and at the beginning, it wasn't easy. When I first started, I was starting off with $5 to $20 cards, where profits were slim, and sometimes I would lose money. But I would lose it to make the relationship because I knew if I ever got to a point to where I was moving big boy cards, those people will remember the deal that I gave them, and they would, remember my face, and they would help me out when I start to get bigger and bigger and I'm selling bigger boy cards. It is a grind. It is, that's not what these content creators are showing. They're showing, you know, their best moments. They're not showing crappy interactions. They're not showing when they lose. They're not showing when a seller's like, nah, can't do it. Because almost every single interaction, every single purchase they make, it seems smooth and easy. Eat a chocolate bar, go on to the next. In reality, it's not like that. When I go to a sports card show, I have the merch, I have the hats, I have the meta glasses, I have the camera, and it is a son of a bee to get deals. I'm trying to buy at a higher percentage than everybody else, and I cannot get it at shows. And I see with every single, every other person, they're going in, they're trying to buy at 85 to 90%. Some are trying to buy at 80. You're never going to be able to buy at 75 at a show, unfortunately. But yeah, you're getting denied every single time, and every single seller is telling you, I need it at 95 or 100%. That's the only way I'm going to sell you my cards. It could be $1 card or it could be $1 million card. They're going to tell you the same exact thing. And in reality, they can probably get that if a big time seller comes out, a repacker comes out, but it's just not reality. So there it is. That's what this episode's about. This episode is all about the creators. This is the content creator. Don't fall for the videos. Don't fall for how easy it looks. Trust me, it is not easy. This thing takes time. It can take weeks, months, and even years. But if you're dedicated to this and you really want to do this, this is where you need to be. Grind at it. You're going to take losses, but those losses are going to create massive wins. Don't give up. Don't fall for the social media hype. Don't fall for that content creator hype that you're seeing. I get it. They're making millions or thousands of dollars, but that's not going to be you yet. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be easy. Continue to grind. Continue to do it. I love y'all so much. Continue to be kings. Continue to be royalty. Continue to be great. This is Randy Rips. What's season 2, episode 2. We're getting it. We're going. And we are in the content creating era. So don't stop believing and keep ripping.
Clic. Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Aïe, aïe, aïe.